It is May the 15th, 2016. I am now celebrating my official birthday, the officially folkloric birthday, because I have two birthdays, and here is why. My mother gave birth to me before midnight, alone. The doctor arrived after midnight, and probably didn't want to admit that he wasn't there when a patient gave birth. So he put down when he arrived. But my mother always told me that my birthday was on the 15th, but my government birthday is on the 16th. So I'm turning 45 today, and it feels good. I am on the precipice. And these are my kitty boos. There's Ya, Asantawa, and there is Ramses Amir, and of course my fantastic father dear, Eugene B. Redmond. We are headed to breakfast, and then we're going to see his. Oh, okay, awesome.
We're going to go to Goodies again. Did you like it?
Yeah. So and then we're going to see your sister Rose.
Yep.
All right, so
I want to see my big sister.
Big sister Rose, and is she the oldest sister?
Oldest living.
The oldest living sister, but when all 9 siblings were alive, who was the oldest sister?
Ethel.
Ethel was the oldest sister. Okay, the one with the sultry laugh, who we lost in the 90s.
That's right, 90s.
That was Amir getting our table, and here is Ramses Amir. Isn't that a coincidence? They have the same name, which means prince. So both of their parents had high expectations for them.
Look at all the button things.
Is this where all the people have been from? Look, and let me show you where I'm going this summer. I'm going to Macedonia, which is. Does that say Macedonia? I can't see.
I can't see.
Does it say it, Ramses? Where's Macedonia?
Macedonia is right. Yacht's going right.
Oh. Ramses is going to show us.
Is right around. It's somewhere above Greece.
Yeah, somewhere above Greece. Well, that's where I'm going this summer. I'm going to Macedonia. It's the craziest thing. It's the most awesome thing. I'm too excited. We're ready. Oh, okay.
And if you'll follow me.
We have made it to the University Forest Nursing Care Center. It was not an easy place to find. It is not a place that you would just happen upon.
Well, at least I know it.
Right.
When I give her a drink, some more relative.
Ya has her special crystal rock. Ramsey's got a short nap in the car.
Every month I sent you my money to hold for me. Well, you gave it to me when I got back.
Well, it's at my house.
No, you gave it to me, and I went to college.
Somewhere.
I sent you a bond.
I went to college.
Yeah, I sent you a couple of $20 bonds every month from Japan. And when I got home, you gave it to me so I could go to college.
So you healthy, real good. How is that it?
It's pretty good.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, been missing you. This is your niece. That's my daughter, Treasure. She's a college professor.
Yes, ma'am. am on my way to St. Louis after spending a good part of the day with my dad. But I had this nap. Whew! This nap between 3 and 5. Wow. It gave me life. Ain't that what the young folks saying nowadays? It gave me life. It gave me life. And so I'm headed over to St. Louis to this public conversation about race between Stephen Holdsworth and Amy Hunter. Stephen is one of the foundational members of St. Louis's punk community, and queer man, and an activist for social justice. Has been very visible in the last 3 years, almost 3 years since Michael Brown's death. And Amy Hunter was the social justice leader at the YWCA, and has recently become the head of diversity and inclusion in St. Louis Children's Hospital. And I know you can barely see me because of this bright light, but I'm really interested in the things that they'll have to say to each other. They're coming from different gender perspectives, and I think this is going to be good. Unfortunately, I'm late. It started at 6 and I'm driving and it's 6:05, so pray for me.
So I do race talk, so I would say the narrative around race has to change, and in order to do that we have to use what's called the counter narrative, which means that we're questioning everything that we're reading and hearing, especially if it's coming from the dominant group. And I think once you kind of get in the swing or practice of that, then it becomes more natural or rote. So you would read something, a good example, I had a teacher the other day who said, well, I teach 14th century English, so how can I diversify that? And I said, well, Europeans weren't the first people to write, so in the world, what were people reading and writing in the 14th century? You can make it a global course instead of just a European course, and just noticing how that, something that seems kind of insignificant and something that she's been taught and trained to do kind of every year for every student that she's had, you know, we really get to challenge the language that we're using, because when I said, you know, you can't believe that, you know, Europeans were the only people reading and writing in the 14th century, she kind of paused, like, really?
There's a lot of people who say, a lot of white people who say, oh, I'm all for ending racism. I hate racism. I don't do anything racist in my own life. I don't want to be around people who are racist. I don't want to do racist things. And then you say, oh, well, here's this systematic racism that's happening over here. Will you help me fight against it? He says, oh, no, I'm just working on stopping my own racism. And that'll take care of itself eventually. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of why I push back a little bit about the, you know, because this is a radical love that you're talking about that requires action, mm-hmm. not just a love that action besides just self. You guys just in your own little circle, but the whole big circle.
You have to be strategic about the ways that you deploy anti-racism, because racism was deployed in a strategic manner. People sat around a table and talked about latitude and longitude when they divided up the U.S., when they divided up Africa, right? They were making conscious choices. So oftentimes when I'm doing, you know, diversity and inclusion facilitation, and people complain about this Uncle Frank, right? Uncle Frank was in World War II, and Uncle Frank gave them the money to get their house, and Uncle Frank is the type that would change your tire, but Uncle Frank is casually homophobic. Just casual. He uses the word faggot and then, you know, just goes on with, he's casually racist, right? Because he's acting white, or he's acting homophobic, like a U.S. citizen. At that moment, it's not time for you to use all your knowledge and to tell them about 400 years of slavery or to tell them about Stonewall. They're not going to hear that. But what they will hear is, Uncle Frank, I don't find that funny. Pass the peas. Because that's going to sit in them. That's going to be an earworm, right? So when you go to a first grade class, you don't start teaching calculus. You start teaching phonetics, the sound of letters. So you love Uncle Frank. I love Uncle Frank. You give him what he can take at the time, and then you set in your mind later to give him a little more. And that's what you have to, that's what I've had to do with my family. My family was casually homophobic. The man I love, my uncle, is a Methodist pastor in Mississippi. So you know he wasn't here for transgender this, gay this. But I will tell you that over time, as I've sat in community with him over the years, that I've heard him say some things I never thought he would say. You have to be in it for the long game. To the 84 and beyond. You have to be in it for the long game.
Feel in the present time. Both in the 84
Yeah,
and in
like
the
I said that I was going to do all the things that I enjoy for my birthday. And, hi. One of the things I enjoy is talking about race, class, gender, and ability, and age, and just talking with people who are committed to justice. So that, for me, that was an exciting beginning to my birthday night. And now I'm gonna head over here to the juke joint and kick up my heels. Oh, I made it to the juke joint. It's the 45 turn up. It's going down. Thank you.
Every day I have the blues. When you see me working, honey, you are having the blues. All about it now.